All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to the Friday night live stream of my horror anthology, Hell's Night. Um, Welcome. If anybody's out there, say hey. So, if you're new watching this, or if you are getting caught up, we are writing a horror film anthology, and that horror film is called Hell's Night. So, what is a horror film anthology? So if you're not sure, then essentially it is typically like a film that's going to have other stories in it. So what we've been doing over the course of the last 3 weeks is we've been writing live here on my YouTube channel, and we have been writing the wraparound story or the introduction story that's going to introduce the other stories in this anthology. So we're about 9 pages into the introduction story, and hopefully tonight we finish out the first draft of this introduction story to the point to where we need to figure out what our first story is that we're going to write in this anthology. So that is the main goal for the night, but we're going to talk about just a few things surrounding this script, some ideas of the script, and I'm going to check on a few things here while we're getting started and getting set up. Let me see here. What do we got going on? What's up, Chuck? How you doing? Glad you're tuning in again. How does the video quality look, Chuck? Does it look a little bit better than it has lately using a different camera? Um, Using a different camera today. To me, I think it's a little bit more clear than it has been. So I think it was just sort of an issue with how my other camera was playing with the Elgato Cam Link. And I don't know. I think there was an issue there. I don't know. But I think that this is a lot more clear than it was before. So I am stoked on that. Um, Let me see here. So we're going to get a few things set up, and then we'll get into the writing portion of this. Definitely a little clearer, so that is good news for me. So Chuck, how's your week been thus far? Been pretty busy, or how you been lately? I know that you've been doing a lot of uploading this week. So Kick. Checking out Kick. I've never, I know Kick is sort of new. Um, but I'm streaming over there as well, so I'm just checking the feed over there because I don't know if Kick has an app. Does Kick have an app? Does anybody know? Um, but I know it is an alternative to Twitch. So checking that out. I don't even know what the features are over here on Kick. I just know that I'm able to automatically stream to there. So, well, Chuck, you could be hardly consistent. You'd still be more consistent than I am. You know, I've been doing a lot lately, but you know how that is. It's hard to be consistent uploading with having a regular life and regular things going on. But So live stream aside, writing stream aside, if you do watch my YouTube channel, whether you're watching this now or you're watching this on the replay, um, a cool thing is that this is actually the 50th upload. So I'm doing a video project where I'm doing 100 videos in 100 days. And this is the 50th upload. So I'm literally 50% of the way there. So um, beyond excited for that because it is no small feat to try to upload that much. Some people it comes super easy to. To me, it doesn't. Cool, Chuck. Appreciate that. I'll have to get that app because maybe it'll be easier for me to check it out because I'm just switching in between the website and over here. I don't even know like what the community is like over on Kick. I don't even know how you um, can bring people into your streams. I just know that it's an option that I can stream to, and I know it's an alternative to Twitch. So, um, I don't know. So I decided I would stream there as well as streaming to Twitter, Twitch, and of course here on YouTube. So the setup is a little bit different here this week. I've got, of course, my main monitor here, and then I have an external display over here that I sometimes use when I'm busy video editing. But I have it down here, and this is what I'm gonna use to write on, simply because it allows me to, instead of being turned sideways as I'm writing, be a little bit more, engaged with anybody that is out there watching. So, um, yeah, so that's how we're gonna do it, and I think that's gonna work out. Or so far, that's how it's gonna work out. I gotta figure out, you know, what I'm gonna do with really the desk setup. I would like to mount this other external monitor on an arm and maybe put it up. I don't know, like up here. I have this shelf that you can see. This runs lengthwise of the wall here. Um, and over the top of my desk, I would like to either have like a magic arm or just some sort of monitor desk arm, to mount it like essentially like right here or something, to where, I can push it out of the way when I don't need it or bring it in close when I do want to use it. Apache, what's up, Apache? New here. So nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Um, maybe you've been here before, but I don't think I've seen you comment before. So, what's up? How are you doing? How was your week? So, getting the setup here for live streaming, like I said, is half the battle, not just for writing, but for just doing this at all. And it's gonna make all the difference for it to be comfortable while I'm writing or just comfortable live streaming because live streaming is a whole new skill set that I'm just starting to figure out. Um, awesome. So what we're doing here first is just talking a little bit. If you've got any questions about me, what I do, or anything in general, feel free to ask. We're just hanging out here. And then we're going to go into a little bit of the script and we're going to do some real time writing on the script. And then before we do that, we'll talk about the script a little bit. And I'll tell you what my ideas are, where we're headed with it, and we'll just recap it. That way it makes a little bit of sense for anybody that's hopping in new. So I hear that or read somewhere that I think Twitter's about to go to like a all pay, like you're gonna have to pay to use it. Did you hear about that, Chuck, Apache? Either one of you guys hear about that? And it sucks because um, Twitter, I think where it shines current state is really with the communities, not really like on your uh like personal profile, your personal feed. I think the communities is really where it's I don't know, beating everything else because if you have just like a horror community or screenwriting community or something like that, then those seems like those different sections have good engagement as opposed to, just yelling into the ether by posting on your own profile. So I feel like uh, that is a good thing that you can use. Really, $20 a month? I figured it would be like five bucks. So $20 a month is, sucks. I mean, it's not a ton of money, I guess, if you really can leverage Twitter to, uh, I don't know, to further your business or to make money or do whatever it is you do. Like if you have a huge following, $20 a month isn't bad, but it just seems like with everything else, another $20 subscription based model for something is just going to be a pain, like I don't know. It's going to suck because it's sort of like forcing your hand at that point. Yeah, $8 to get the blue check, and then apparently you have I don't really use Twitter, like, at all. I'm posting these live streams there and stuff, and, very rarely will I throw, like, an update up or something if it's just, like, I don't know, but it's not something I use. Really, YouTube is the only social media that I have or that I use. Um, Now with, like I said, Twitter communities, I think Twitter is awesome. I've checked out like the horror community over there and I post these streams there, post these streams in the screenwriting community. Um, but I don't know, like I think the blue check gets you the ability to like send messages or something like that. I don't know what it does these days. I just know that it's, a lot of features that you used to have for free have been taken away. So um I don't know. I think, Elon Musk is really, really ruining Twitter and, ruining a lot of people's, um, outreach or their reach to their audience and stuff with all of his, I don't know, stuff that he's doing, all these changes. But then there's Blue Sky, which is the Jack Dorsey's Twitter alternative, you know, that's supposed to be like old school Twitter. But, he, apparently, that's really hard to get an invite to. People are on the invite wait list for that for, like, weeks upon weeks upon weeks. So, I mean, good luck using that anytime in the near future. So, um, I don't know. It kinda sucks because, we all need a way to share our work, and, it seems like we're being, more limited now than any other time, It's like there's more social media out there than ever before, but it's like depending on what you do, it sort of like starts cutting it down and cutting it down with what you can and you can't do, or they all go to these pay models that they're essentially they need you for their platform to be successful, but they want you to pay them to reach um either audience to bring more people on their platform or to have you there. So it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of crazy the way it works. But that's not what this live stream's about. This live stream is about screenwriting and writing horror in general. So I do want to take a look at. Let me bring up our script here. So right now we are 11 pages in, and let's see what our word count is here. 2,151, 11,261 characters. So not too much so far. Let's see what our goals are. So we're averaging 1.7 pages. I didn't do any writing this past week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This is developing a writing schedule here, so I'm not gonna do this, I don't think. I do need to develop a better writing routine. because generally I just write when we hop on these live streams because I don't want to get too involved with writing um, and not writing on these streams or getting too far ahead. Even though I could catch you guys up, I want to make sure that, you know, if I'm saying I'm going to write this on stream, that I'm really just writing the bulk of it there. So, um, let's go ahead. We'll talk a little bit about the script just to recap it, and then we'll go back uh, to writing. So, uh, my friend with multiple personalities refused to use Twitter because it limits how many characters you can have in each post. That's pretty funny. Uh, so yeah. So I don't even know what did Twitter start out to be? It was like 180 characters, right? That you could have, and then now I think you can basically write like a paragraph per post. Discord is something that I have never properly utilized. Like, I know what it is. I get on Discord, I use Midjourney, um, and I used to use Discord to help with a podcast or to do like essentially like FaceTime a friend while we were like doing some remote video editing. I recently tried to set up a horror screenwriting Discord because I do use Reddit, and I posted on Reddit. I said, "Hey, is there any horror screenwriters out there?" And a bunch of people were saying, "Yeah, like, I write, and I would love to be part of a Discord." So I set up a Discord, right? And I went back to the subreddit and I posted in there, "Hey guys, here's the Discord. Let's all go in here and let's build a community in here." For horror screenwriters where we can all collaborate. We can read each other's work. We can post finished screenplays. We can do crew calls if we got a screenplay in production. Um, we can just hang out and talk about writing, talk about horror screenwriting, and then like it was just crickets. And that's the problem with like social media is everybody's always on board to say, "Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that." But when the time comes to do it, it's just crickets. And I get it, like, everybody's busy, but it's like, if you're gung ho about something, or if like you really are passionate about something, then you need to develop these communities and you need to develop these collaborations and conversations around the thing that you're doing. So, um, not only so you can network, but so you can improve upon what you're doing. Like if you're bouncing ideas off of somebody or allowing somebody to bounce ideas off of you, and just having conversations about writing or art or whatever it is in general, like you're gonna get better, It's just really hard because a lot of people don't realize how much further along they could be if they would just take time to do the networking, you know, um, or do the collaborations. I don't know. So Discord is really like an underutilized, I guess, platform for me. I really need to look into how to do it better. But like I said, I just set one up recently, and I don't know, like beyond that, I don't know. So like if I was to make a Discord, like say for this channel or for these live streams, I don't know how people would see that. I would just have to invite people to it, right? Or is there like how Twitch has like a homepage where if you just stream, like people can find you in like the just chatting category or the gaming category? How does Discord work? I am absolutely not sure. I guess definitely something I need to look further into. All right, so let's. I can post that Discord here. Let me see. Let me bring it up. Um, Look, I'll do one. I'll even show you guys the Reddit post where just for the heck of it. Okay, so Give me 1 second here. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys this just so you can see it, 'cause why not? We're just hanging out right now anyways. Alright, so I posted this the other day, right here, and it says, "Any horror screenwriters looking to network." Um, 116 comments. So I said, "Hello, I write horror and I live on the East Coast of the US. I write, direct, and shoot horror films at the indie level. Oftentimes, I feel like I'm an alien, as literally no one I meet shares the same interests in my area. Anyone out there write, direct, or shoot horror films that are looking to network, collaborate, or just chat about horror?" 116 comments, 13.8 thousand views, 93% upvote rate. This is literally people just saying, "If someone else ends up making a Discord before I do, please send me an invite. Get me in that Discord." Right here. Let me see. I made a post here and here. Let me see. There is just people down through here saying, um, about the Discord. I'll be up for being part of the Discord. Let me see. There's all through here, right? A bunch of people talking about, "Oh, let's set up a Discord." See this link right here? Well, somewhere in here I post the Discord, unless people just didn't see it. So here you go. Here's a link for the Horror Filmmakers Discord, right? So there it is right there. And, it is, let me see. I don't even know how to share this, to be honest with you. I don't even know how to share this Discord, to be honest. Let me see. Maybe this is it. Maybe I just copy and paste it. See if this works. I mean, I guess that's it. What's up, Brandon? I figured you'd still be at work. Are you not at work right now? Alright, so here my only reason for showing this Reddit post here is the simple fact that, it's just a lot of people, they ask for something, and then you make it, and then it's just like I said, it's just crickets, and it's unfortunate because a lot of times, you know, this is why these people, as well as myself, it's like I said in the post, like, as a horror filmmaker, horror screenwriter, you know, um, you know, you feel alone, you feel alienated because you don't have anybody that is into that side of filmmaking, that side of, uh, you know, not just making movies, but making horror films. And then everybody else out there in this post is basically saying, "Yeah, me too. Like, I feel, you know, uh, isolated and alone about it." But the fact of the matter is, it's like we all wouldn't have to feel that way if you guys would just join the freaking Discord, you know? But it is what it is. I'll probably post it again back in there and let everybody know, "Hey, I did create it. It's here if you wanna be part of it." But, um, I don't know, because I feel like it could be a really cool thing, especially if, we're all sort of not just networking, but we're all being a part of each other's screenplays or whatever the fact may be, or even doing some co-writes, or, like, let's say when I start casting this film, maybe some of these screenwriters act, or maybe some of them, are used to being on a film crew and they wanna be part of that, so I can bring them in and, you know, have them be a part of it. So, what's your move now, Brandon? What you got going on? What are you about to do? You about to game? I just wanna put it on the record that no man in this world has ever told me they love me as much as Brandon has, and, it's interesting, and if he really loved me, he would go, he would go pick up my 50-day upload hat from my website. Gotta put your money where your mouth is, Brandon. Uh, I don't know if you guys have seen those or not, but they're there, and, so, yeah. So I have 50 uploads, and that is a hat to celebrate it. It has plastic vampire teeth on the front of the hat. I would like to come up with something for these writing live streams. I think that would be kinda neat, whether it's a T-shirt or, like, a mug, a coffee mug or something like that, I think would be really cool. So, may do that in the near future. Alright, so, um, Apache, do you write at all? Are you a screenwriter or a horror fan or, um I still gotta buy one of your water tumbler things, Brandon. Boom squad. Alright, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just jump into the script here. If anybody has anything else they want to ask or talk about or do anything, just throw it in the comments. I'll keep looking back at it to see. Um, oh, yes to all. So you do. You write and cool. Awesome. Good. So if you had okay, let me ask you this then. This is a question for everybody that's in the chat. Um, what is okay, so what is the best horror film that you have seen recently? That's just for everybody. Just stick it down there, write it in there, and let me know what it is. And I'll tell you what my favorite one is that I've seen. It is absolutely ridiculous, and I highly recommend. Doesn't matter if it's an old movie, doesn't matter if it's a new movie. What is your favorite one that you've seen recently? Alright, so my favorite horror film that I've watched recently is a movie called Deadstream. Oh, sick. Talk to me. I still haven't seen that. I've been making time to sit and watch that as well as what is it, Cobwebs? Been wanting to watch those 2, and I have yet to make time, to see it. Zombie western that did pretty well at Austin Film Fest 10 years ago. That sounds Are you from Texas? Or did you just send it to the Austin Film Fest? So Deadstream is gnarly. If you guys haven't watched Deadstream, it is absolutely it's like a comedy horror. That I highly recommend it. It is so dumb and funny and good um, that I highly recommend it. This is it right here. That guy's hilarious. He's the main actor. Good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that loves Deadstream. Deadstream is so stupid and funny that when you think of horror movies that you wish you would have written, that is one that I wish I would have written. And I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure that Joseph Winter, Vanessa Winter, their husband and wife, so they were like um, like, husband, wife team of writers and directors, and to me, that's really, really cool. I don't know what else they've got in the works. See. Okay, well, I knew they had the VHS stuff, fairly new. High School Musical 2, he's guitar player. Villains Incorporated. Cool, yeah, yeah, Deadstream, so freaking hilarious. It says Daystream right there, I don't know why, but, absolutely love that movie. Yeah, Train to Busan is pretty freaking awesome. To me, Train to Busan is probably it is hard to do a zombie movie better. Last horror film I watched was Sweet Home Alabama. Bama. That's pretty funny. Oh, there's some BTS out there for Deadstream. I'm gonna have to check that out because BTS is some of my favorite stuff. I love watching BTS or like filmmaking documentaries. There's a documentary out there about Pet Cemetery, the original, and stuff like that just makes me want to make a movie so hard. Like when you watch something like that. So the reason I asked about Austin, Texas was I'm originally from Texas. I'm from North Texas. I live in North Carolina now, so I was just wondering, went to Austin Community College. All my family's in Texas. And I don't know, vampire western. I know there was one vampire western that came out. What was the name of your film, if you don't mind me asking? I know there was one that came out years ago, and I'm pretty sure it had the dude that was in um The Wire. What is that guy's name? With I cannot remember. What was that guy's name? What was the dude's name? Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look for that Deadstream BTS for sure. Dude from The Wire, what was his name? Oh, the guy that played Omar, Michael K. Williams. How could I forget his freaking name? Sure, he was. Maybe it wasn't vampires. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't vampires. I don't know. I don't remember. I thought so. Anyways, vampire. Um, that's probably it. Probably that one. Gallows. Oh, your movie never got made. Was it? Oh, okay. Okay, you sent in a screenplay. Okay, I just read that wrong. I just assumed that you wrote one and the film got sent in. Well, you should make that. Vampire Western sounds amazing. I would 100% watch that. I mean, because westerns are cool enough. Vampires are amazing. So, best vampire movie ever, in my opinion, though, is Lost Boys. And then number 2 would be, I don't have it up here. Must be over there. Well, number 2, my favorite second one is it's Let the Right One In, the Swedish one. And then probably after that it's Fright Night, the original Fright Night. Transylvania. I'm a big fan of the original Dracula, 1931, the one, the Bela Lugosi. Huge fan of that one. Now, Near Dark is pretty excellent. That is one that I don't think gets enough gets enough attention. I think that's one of those that has a cult following and less of like a huge popular following. So like I said, Lost Boys. Lost Boys is huge. Everybody loves it. Near Dark, again, is big, but I don't think it's, I don't think it's one that just a movie that everybody has seen or a movie that, is like in heavy rotation. Because a lot of people are going to say, of course, Fright Night. They're going to say Lost Boys. They're going to say From Dusk Till Dawn. They're going to say Queen of the Damned, stuff like that. 30 Days a Night, which 30 Days a Night's pretty gnarly, though, honestly. Like, I thought it was pretty stupid when it came out, but I watched it again recently, and I was like, this is actually a solid movie. Yeah, so I imagine that this horror crypt Discord is gonna stay pretty empty. There's one other guy in here, and he actually sent me a message on Reddit when I posted that in there, asking me about it. And so he automatically came over there. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll try and help get some people in here." And I'm sure same as me, he tried to message some people or post it up, and then just nobody whatsoever. So, I think that, let me bring our script up here. Oh, that's crazy. Interview Roman Coppola on his special effects work for Dracula. How'd you go about getting that or doing that? Like, what do you do normally? Or like, what do you do for work, or how are you making those kind of things happen? That's multitasking right there. Most important takeaway from that is poop bags. Pick up after your damn dogs, people. We have one of those little signs in our front yard, staked in our front yard, that basically says, like, Be kind, pick up your dog's poop, and people still walk their dogs down the sidewalk and let them crap in the yard, and it's infuriating. And when my wife catches them, it's gonna be hell to pay because she is the one that's gonna go out there and rip their heads off for not picking up their dog poop or letting their dog poop in the yard to begin with. It's not me they have to worry about. It's her. Nice. And that's a good thing right there, like, just good advice. Even though you're not really giving advice, you're just saying what you did, but it's good advice because if you don't ask, the answer is always gonna be no, so it doesn't hurt to, ask people or shoot your shot per se, and, some people are really cool like that. And some people are terrible and they'll shut you down and tell you they don't have time, but some people are really cool. Um, I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody like that or anybody famous. Now, I know Chuck remembers used to have a horror film podcast called Cinema Creep. Um, and I'll probably go back to that. And when I get back into it, I I would like to I don't know, maybe start trying to bring on some more famous filmmakers or other podcast hosts and stuff like that to interview them or just have them on the show and talk to them. So I'll probably be doing some of that reaching out. And I was talking about it actually in a YouTube video I was making today, talking about, you know, starting the podcast up again and really just making it a live stream show and just talking about doing the live streams and doing reactions to trailers and movie reviews live and all that. I think would be a lot of fun as opposed to pre-recording it. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's always good when you meet somebody like that and they're super cool. It sucks when you meet somebody and they're just a dickhead, especially when it's somebody you idolize or somebody you like. So for me, uh, back in my 20s, played in a lot of bands, and my band would end up playing with, semi-famous bands or famous bands and stuff like that. And then when you would try to reach out to people that were in these bigger bands, I remember always trying to talk to them, and they'd always just like cool guy you, like they wouldn't want to spend time talking to you, or, they wouldn't have time to answer a couple questions or talk about gear. They wouldn't have time to just do anything because they were too busy cool guying, sitting on their bus or smoking cigarettes or, talking to underage girls or whatever it was they were trying to do at the time. So, um, that always made me really mad because it's people you look up to, then you realize they're absolute scumbags or they're just assholes. And that always sucks. So it's good when you meet somebody that, you like, or you idolize or whatever, and they're really cool. But Chuck, you ever met anybody famous? Brandon, you ever met anybody famous? I bet Brandon's not even listening anymore. I bet he has me just playing in the background. If Brandon responds to this in the next 3 minutes and puts a comment, I'll give him $5 next time I see him. This music is not it. D'Angelo Williams. Who the heck is D'Angelo Williams? Is that a sports person? Is a sports person. Ah, gotcha. So, I hope you didn't hear that mess about $5. Um, uh, always heard that when Cam Newton played for the Panthers, I always heard he was a jerk from friends that I had that worked in Charlotte at the time, and they worked like in restaurants and stuff. Always heard he came in to the restaurants and he was super arrogant and stuff like that. Not that that really has any bearing on anything that I care about, but I know Brandon's a huge Panthers fan. I don't know if he was a Cam Newton fan, or if he is a Cam Newton fan. But I always heard he was you know, he was a jerk. Oh, damn it. Well, good. Props to you. You are paying attention. See, it pays to pay attention. Chuck, who's Wally Lamb? I imagine that's another sports guy. No? Author. That's cool. That's pretty cool. I just figured he was a football player. Since football is your thing, Yeah, I know he did a lot for Charlotte, and I wonder how much of that is like actually him doing it, or if it's like his team, like his managers and stuff doing it. Either way, it still got done. It doesn't matter, but um, well, good for him. Good for whoever he helped. Ex-father-in-law's cousin. That's a crazy relation there. But that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Author that was on Oprah Winfrey book list. Yeah, I saw that when I Googled him just a minute ago. Wally Lamb. It's talking about his thing on the Oprah book list, which was a huge thing back in the day. Yeah, I have no sports knowledge either. I will say, grew up in Texas, right? Where football was religion, and it was pushed on me and pushed on me. So of course I was a sports kid, like I played football, played basketball. I was a Dallas Cowboys fan by default as a kid because Texas. And then like every kid born in the 80s, early 90s, like every kid during that time, I was a Michael Jordan fan. So Michael Jordan was larger than life. Scottie Pippen, Rodman, that whole era. And then after Michael Jordan quit playing basketball, I quit watching it up until like 2000, from like 2006 to 2009, and then I became a huge Celtics fan. Then I just quit watching it, you know, probably about 2014. So I don't watch any sports. I tried to get into hockey a little bit over the last couple years because I grew up watching hockey as well, but, it is so expensive to watch hockey that it is not even worth it, you know, because they don't just really play it on TV. You have to pay, like I don't even know what it is now, like, you can either pay and then just watch, like, teams in your network and not watch, like, the entire, like, series, or you can pay, like, I don't even know, it's like an ungodly amount, it's like over $100. So I'm in North Carolina, like the western part near the mountains, the Blue Ridge Parkway area, Appalachian Mountains. Dang, Chuck, how much money did he send you? You don't have to tell me. I'm just joking. Don't tell me how much money he sent you, but that's pretty cool. And you said he was your ex-father-in-law's cousin, and he sent you money for your wedding? That's rad. Where are you from, Apache? Where were you born? Where are you living now, if you don't mind me asking? Chuck, I know you're a South Carolina guy living near me. Oh, man. My wife is from Cleveland, Ohio. Now, you know, Chuck, I'm sure Chuck and Brandon, they're both football guys. I know they will attest to this. Now, and of course, like, don't football well, but I will say some of the most diehard fans I've ever met because it doesn't matter the weather, doesn't matter how crappy the teams do there, they always show up. And they're diehard because they act like their football team is the greatest of all time. They act like their baseball team is the greatest of all time. They act like their basketball team is the greatest of all time, even when they're sucking. So that's one thing you could say. But yeah, my wife is from Cleveland, and all of her family's from Cleveland. Oh man, LA. Nice. So you get to make the be part of the exodus from LA to Texas, or you just going elsewhere? They do think they win the Super Bowl every year, Chuck. But the thing about that is at least they believe it. I feel like they wholeheartedly believe it, and not only the football team. I feel like every fan believes it. It doesn't matter how down and out they are. There's got to be some respect there, right? There's got to be a little bit of respect there because, um, even when you are faced with defeat and you still feel like you're going to show up and win, that's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. We all need to be our own Cleveland Brown on the inside. That's what I take away from that. So, I'm gonna go refill my coffee. It's gonna take me 2 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we can either continue chatting, or we can start script writing. Doesn't matter to me. I'm good either way. Give me just a few minutes. Cool. Got some more coffee. So, what did I miss? Heading to Florida, huh? The land of Disney. I lived in Florida for a little bit as a kid. Lived in Winter Haven and Deltona, which is somewhere near Daytona Beach. Florida can be really cool depending on where you live. From one coast to the other. So Chuck, I don't know if this is a joke right here, uh, or if this is like a real thing. I don't know if rest in peace because he was a Cleveland fan, or if it's rest in peace because he passed away. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about football, but I do know that everybody hates the Cowboys now. So I guess it's good that I'm no longer a football fan or a Cowboys fan. I would probably, uh, if I was to watch football, I would probably, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know how I would go about picking a team. I wouldn't want to pick a winning team though. Like when it comes to sports, to me it's boring to watch a team that always wins. You know, like be like a Lakers fan or be like a like a Golden State Warriors fan or, you know, granted when I was a kid I was a Bulls fan with Michael Jordan. They always won, but I was a kid. You know, like it sucks to watch a team that doesn't really have to struggle to win. You know, and I know it's to me it's even like watching like certain athletes, you know. Everybody's huge fans of like I don't know, certain people, but it's like these people don't even have to struggle to play. It's not interesting. I can't relate to them. I have to relate to the people that like struggle, like the everyday people. That's why like hockey's interesting because they have reserve players, I think, that are just like average Joes that sign up to be reserve players. And like if so many of their players get hurt, they just call the reserve player in. And it can be just like some dude who works in a warehouse or some dude who like, you know, just freaking, I don't know, works at the McDonald's drive-thru but plays hockey and they just call him in and he's like, okay, well, here I am. I'm here to play, and not getting paid like the rest of the athletes. He's just there to play. That's why hockey's cool. Yeah, that's normally what I do is if me and Brandon are gaming or something, I'll tell him I'll be right back or hey, I'll be on in 5 minutes and it'll be like 45 minutes later. All right, so cool. We're gonna hop into a little bit of writing and do a little bit of writing for a while. Because if you are here for the writing, you're probably disappointed that we haven't started writing. But we're gonna get into it here in just a minute. All right, so here we go. So, Brandon, I don't know if you know what I'm writing. Don't think we've talked about it. Chuck comes to every live stream, so Chuck is pretty caught up. Apache is new here, so And now that I hopped over to Twitter real quick, Apache, I do recognize your profile picture because I saw that you followed me the other day and I followed you back. So I do kind of recognize that. Um, all right, so we're gonna talk real quick and recap this. Yeah, Brandon. And then we'll hop right back in because I've got to get this to the point to where I'm going to start either writing the next story or I'm going to start looking for filmmakers or writers that want to write the next story. So, Apache, if you're still writing and you're looking to write a film, then listen up because this is what we're doing here. Um, so essentially, I'm writing an anthology, right? The anthology is called Hell's Night, and it is going to be, if you've ever watched an anthology like Creep Show, Body Bags, Cabinet of Curiosities, even Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Twilight Zone, so on and so forth, right? You know that it has a presenter of the stories, or it has a story that sort of introduces the other stories that are contained within that main story. So that's what we're doing here. So the anthology is called Hell's Night. And if for some reason I end up not liking that title and end up changing it later, that could always be a possibility. But that's what I'm running with. That's what that means. So the wraparound story or the introduction story right now is what we are writing. So we are writing a story about this couple, and the couple, it's sort of like a cold open in a way. So you can see the top line here: exterior night, city street. So it starts, during the night on a city street. The street is dark, the city is dark, and this couple is walking down the sidewalk, and it is raining. It's like a hellish downpour of a storm, and it is completely dark. They don't know where they are. They seek refuge under a storefront awning. So like when it's raining heavy in a city, if you've ever noticed, people are kind of like ducking and dodging, trying to get out of the rain, and they sort of take cover under like storefront awnings. So they make their way to the storefront awning, and they start trying to talk and figure out where they're at. So you have two characters, mid-30s. They're a couple. You have David and Sarah. Let me see here. So they don't know where they're at, and they don't know how they got here on this street. They just know that at some point they went out for dinner. At some point they were, out on like an anniversary date. But past that, they don't know how they got on this street. They don't know what happened between the time they left the restaurant and between the time that they were caught out in the rain. And this is all explained through action and dialogue. So they get to this awning and they're trying to figure out what to do. The main character takes his phone out of his pocket, right? And he is, trying to figure out, okay, well, maybe I can call for help. Maybe I can call for directions. And he realizes, of course, his phone's not working, So Sarah goes to dig through her bag to get her phone. She doesn't have it. She doesn't know what happened to it. She doesn't have it, but she does know she has this terrible neck pain, right? So she has this terrible neck pain, and David goes over to look at her, and she has like these scratch marks around going down her neck. And she's cold, she's wet, she just wants to get home. David's the protector, so he is hell-bent on getting her out of this situation. He's like, I've got to get her out of here. Don't know where we're at, but she's cold, she's wet, and she doesn't feel well, so I've got to get her out of here. So he's looking down the road, looking around, and he sees this antique shop down at the end of the road. This antique shop is the only thing in the city that looks like somebody's there. looks like it's occupied or open, should I say, because the lights are on and it is, let me show you guys, for Brandon and Apache. I have he is like, we've got to get in that antique shop. That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna find a phone. We're gonna call an Uber. We're gonna call, whoever. We're gonna get directions. We're gonna get out of here. So they start making their way down to the antique shop, and when they get there, he they essentially start creeping around and start looking at stuff. I've done a good job explaining this. This wraparound story, right, is about this young couple. They don't know where they're at, and they find themselves out in this rain, and the woman feels terrible, has a neck pain, and she just wants to go home. So the male character, he's like, I'm getting you home, getting you out of here. They see this antique shop, they go to it, and they break in. Now, this story is essentially a retelling of the Greek mythology of Haran. So Haran is the ferryman of the dead. Um, so if you don't know Greek mythology, there's Haran, and he is essentially the guy that you pay your toll to ferry you across the river Styx, from the living world to the afterlife. So if you know where I'm going with this, then this couple's actually dead. They just don't know it yet. So um, that's why they don't know how they got caught in this rain. That's why they don't know what happened between the time they left the restaurant till walking in the rain. So that's why the city's dark, is because it's actually them living in like this shadow world, right? So when they get to the antique shop, they're in there and they're looking at all of these different things. Everything in this antique shop is old and dingy and dirty. Let's see if I have some more art of inside the antique shop. Um, they come across this mirror. So this mirror, you know, ghastly. It's ghostly. It's the dead version of them, right? So after they see this image of themselves, right? Then you see Haran, who is the shopkeeper of this antique shop, and he starts telling them this story, right? So as they're walking around and they're picking up these different things, she has the money to pay Haran. Um, this is where we introduce story number two. Story number two is the next short film that we're going to either write or find another filmmaker to write. And when the story comes back in, the way we're going to conclude this main wraparound story is Haran, basically says, "Hey, you guys are dead, and I'm here to take you to the afterlife." He takes Sarah because Sarah has the gold coins. David does not have the gold coins. His family didn't bury him with shit, so he is left to roam the riverbank for 100 years. So it's sort of going to be like this bittersweet ending where David is left, but he's left in purgatory, and the two have to separate. So that's the wraparound story. We have some story ideas for the other two stories. We just have to figure out, do I want to write them, or do I want to write one of them and then maybe have another filmmaker, another writer write the other one? So that's where I'm at. Any feedback from anybody is greatly appreciated. So, Brandon, I don't know if you were listening to that, but that is essentially the main story here. And then we have a couple other story ideas. And Chuck, I don't think I've really spitballed um, the entire storyline with you of how I was going to wrap this up. So, what do you think about the end of that? The whole mirror thing. Let me see if I can figure that out. This might do it right here. This might be the better way to do it. Probably how I should have done it the first time. So yeah, so we're essentially not retelling the entire story of Haran in the Ferryman of the Dead, but our one character really, that's exactly who he is. He's Haran, just with this shopkeeper's, I guess, persona. And I just got to figure out, how do I want to end the story? Do I want to write both stories that are inside this, or do I want to, like I said, find some other filmmakers, some other writers that want to either write and produce their own script for this, or somebody that just wants to write it and then have me produce it, just depending on, who it is, what their story is, and, how that goes. Cool. Glad to see you made it in that Discord, Apache. Nice. So that Discord link there is for anybody that wants to be part of a horror screenwriting community. It should be over in the comments. Definitely hop in there. And, even if it's something that you're not sure if you want to write, if you're trying to learn how to write or you are just interested in the process, hop in there. There may be crew calls, there may be, networking opportunities in there as well. That's what I envision it and hope it's going to end up being, is a lot of that instead of just people saying, "Hey, look at my work." It'll be people saying, "Hey, do you want to get involved in my project?" Or, "How can I help you on your project?" All right, so, um, we'll talk real quick about the characters one more time, and then I'll hop into doing some writing for about 30 minutes or so, or for however long we need to go. So, of the way because that is why we're here. Do some writing now that we got some of this Q&A stuff out of the way here. This music, I gotta change this music. So the software that I'm using is Restream. I think I saw something where they were talking about they're about to do something about their music to make it to where you can upload your own and stuff like that. Something has to happen with this because this music is wildly, wildly obnoxious. All right, so here we go. Let's write a little bit. Cool. All right, so let's go over where we picked up last time. We're going to go to page 9 and we're going to read through this. All right, so we're going to start here. This looks like this is not okay, it is formatted right. Okay. Let me get to an action sequence. We'll start where they get in the antique shop. Cool. Glad you're in the Discord, Chuck. Definitely look for any postings in there. I got to start posting up some stuff over there. That way, maybe if people view it, they'll want to be part of it. That might be part of the reason none of those people joined it, is they went over there and it was completely empty. But they knew it was going to be new because they said we should create one. So I don't know what they were expecting. Anyways, let's get back here to all right, here we go. We're going to start here. I'm going to read through it and then we're going to pick up. So we're starting where they get to the antique shop. So interior Haran's Antiques night. The couple slowly walk in, looking around at the interior of the shop. It's dimly lit, covered in dust, and overcrowded with things from the floor to the ceiling. Cobwebs and decades old dust hang from the light fixtures and framed portraits on the walls. The floors squeak and groan with every step they take. Sarah is apprehensive and on guard walking into the front room of the antique shop. Sarah, this is to anyone. Hello? Anyone here? Sarah can't decide if she's relieved or more frightened that there is no response. She looks at David for reassurance. We were stuck out in the storm and we sort of got lost. We don't know where we are and we just want to use a phone. David looks back at Sarah and whispers, I don't think anyone is here. Sarah whispers back, what if they are hiding? David, why would they be hiding? Sarah looks at David in disbelief. How long do you think this place has been here? David continues to look around in disbelief. I don't like this. At David, this is not what I want here. There's not two actions of disbelief. David continues to look around in disbelief. I don't know. Some of this stuff looks really old, probably nearly a century. Sarah, I don't ever remember seeing this place here before. David, me neither. I can't remember what part of town we are in, though. Sarah and David let go of each other's hands and begin to explore the front room of the shop independently, looking closer at the items stacked on top of one another. David, naturally curious, picks up an old clock and examines it closely. The time reads 6 p.m. David looks at the back of the clock and tries to wind it, but with no luck. It dawns on him that he has no clue what time it is. Sarah, what time is it? Sarah is staring deep into a curio cabinet filled with bottles of old medical tinctures and tonics. I have no idea. This night has seemed like it has gone on forever. David reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone to check it once more. It's still dead. Still no luck with my phone. There's got to be one here somewhere we can use. Sarah picks up an old death mask from a nearby desk. Looking around. Yeah, somewhere. David sees what Sarah's holding and walks over to her. Do you know what that is? Sarah looks down at it closer, turning it over and trying to take a guess. David reaches and slowly grabs the mask from her. It's a sculpture of a face. No, it's a death mask. Sarah takes half a step back from David and looks at him. A death mask? Yeah, a long time ago, people would cast the faces of their dead relatives as like a souvenir. David holds the mask up to his face. That's really creepy. Put it away. I want to say away. I want to say put it back. Put it down. It's not really that weird. What's creepy is in Western civilizations how they deal with death. They discard their loved ones, no celebrations, no mementos, just put them in ground and forget about them. Sarah's already walked further into the antique shop now, away from David and the death mask. I meant it was creepy how much it looks like you. That sounds like she's just like roasting his ass here, but um because of how much it looks like you. David looks at the mask before setting it back down and he realizes the eerie resemblance, but too scared to agree with Sarah. And he just says, "Not really." And that's where we left off. So, um, David picks up this death mask and Sarah realizes it looks sort of like him. So, he also picks up the clock and the clock is stuck on 6 p.m. It won't wind. So, here's one thing that I want to include in their flashback, right? So, I want to include the David and Sarah getting killed at 6 p.m., right? So that'll bring circle that clock that won't wind past 6 o'clock. So we're gonna have them just killed by just some guys on the street. They're in a car. They see this couple walk out of a restaurant. This 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 duo in this car. Um, they have their own problems, and we'll have a little bit of dialogue between them in the car. But they basically just go out and they murder them in cold blood to take whatever belongings they have, and they book it, right? But it'll be told through action that it happens at 6 p.m. That's why he sees the clock that won't rewind past 6 p.m. Um, Also, the death mask that looks like him, through the flashbacks, right? We'll have it revealed that, of course, Sarah's family, you know, puts gold coins in her mouth when they bury her. David's family, they cast a death mask. That's why this death mask is in there. Sarah will eventually find her necklace that was snatched off of her because David's found two things. He's found a death mask, he's found the clock, right? That are tying to his death and his funeral. Sarah will cough up the coins, which ties to her funeral, and we're gonna find the necklace that she was wearing that is going to show in her flashback that will tie to her death. So, does all that sound good? Does all that make sense to everybody out there? I think that I think that will tie those objects together perfectly. Now, the weird thing about this story is when you have an anthology and you have these wraparound stories, you want them to be relatively simple. And a lot of anthologies just have a presenter, right? That sort of says, you know, I'm I'm the crypt keeper from, Tales from the Crypt, and I'm just gonna laugh crazy and introduce a story, right? Which is great. Love Tales from the Crypt, love the Crypt Keeper. Um, or Guillermo del Toro in Netflix's Cabinet of Curiosities, he's just digging through or looking through a curio cabinet, right? And he takes something out and introduces a story, which is a killer way to do it. But I feel like we're breaking the mold and breaking the rules, and we're making something that is really complex here. And I think that is going to be super gnarly because our wraparound story is getting pretty deep. And the issue with it being deep is I want to make sure that it makes sense to use this as a wraparound story and not actually as one of the short films. Because I feel like this is a good story we're telling here. I feel like it's an interesting story we're telling, and it to be um, I don't want it to be watered down by by, like, cutting into another story. Anybody have any thoughts? I don't I feel like, this can still be our introduction story, and it's not getting too, I guess, I don't wanna say bogged down with details, but it's not getting too deep or too detailed to be the wraparound story. Hey, Chuck, have you ever watched Creepshow? Like, the old ones? There was Creepshow, Creepshow 2, and now they have the new series, Creepshow. I guess you could say Creepshow 3, but, um, have you ever watched those? You should check them out. The original Creepshow, I think, was definitely from the '80s. I think you might like some of them. Yeah, so Creepshow was from '82, Creepshow 2, '87. No, there was a Creepshow 3 in 2006, and then there's the new Creepshow, which is on Shudder, but I think you can watch Creepshow 2 on Tubi. Yeah, it's free on Tubi. I don't know if you have Tubi or you watch Tubi, but there's a lot of good movies on there for free. You should check it out. Or you should watch, what is that one called? Probably closest to what we're doing is this right here. It's called, let me see if I can share this. Well, I can. Just give me a minute to share it. This right here, Mortuary Collection. This is on Netflix, I believe. And this is a pretty solid anthology. An eccentric mortician recounts several macabre and phantasmagorical tales that he's encountered in his distinguished career. Phantasmagorical. That is a hell of a word. Um, but yeah, so this thing that you're seeing, this trailer that's playing right there, is essentially a the wraparound story. So this girl goes for this job interview at this funeral home, and she meets this mortician, and the mortician um, more or less, starts telling her these different stories. And at the end, he traps her in the funeral home, and she is now the mortician that is going to lead this whatever thing in the afterlife or something. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's actually pretty good. Definitely worth watching. It's a good modern day anthology. That, or like I said, Creep Show um, is a good one. That way you can sort of see anthologies um, how anthologies are made and how they're done successfully. So I like Creepshow too, this one. It's kinda goofy, you know? I wouldn't say it's really that bad, that it's, like, something that you couldn't really watch with family. I mean, you might wanna be careful watching it around your son if you watch it, but it's still not really bad. It's nothing that's, like, it's more cheesy than anything. I mean, it's written by Stephen King, so love Stephen King, but a lot of his stuff is kinda cheesy when it's gone from his books to, being adapted. And then the new ones have kept up that cheese, right? So this guy here that you see, he's the presenter of the story. They're kind of corny, but they're good. They're a lot of fun. and this is AMC Plus, so it's probably on AMC. I watch it on Shudder because Shudder is an AMC, horror streaming service. But it's good, and a lot of this is done by Greg Nicotero, the, special effects makeup guy. He's really keeping Creepshow alive, so good on him. Awesome dude. Um, and then there's Creepshow 2, Creepshow 1, like I said, Tales from the Crypt. Um, I don't know. I would watch those, any of that stuff, so you can kinda see how an anthology plays out. Just so you know, it might, uh, sort of make what I'm doing over here make more sense if it doesn't already. Let me see here. Let's go back to the script. All right, let's get this going. All right, so we're gonna write a little bit. Like I said, I'm not gonna live stream too much longer. We've been on for almost 2 hours now. We did some good Q&A, some good talking, some good recapping in the front portion of it. So that means I'm gonna have to write some before our next live stream to get us caught up where we want to be. But we're gonna write a little bit here. So a minute was creepy because of how much it looks like you. David looks at the mask before setting it back down and realizes the eerie resemblance, but too scared to agree with Sarah. I want him to say not really. I want him to say, let me see here. What I want to do here is David nervously, he changes the subject. Okay. So I want David to step into the restroom. Okay, so what causes the flashback of how they're murdered? So that's a good point, Chuck. So I've thought a little bit about it, right? So I originally thought when they pick up certain items that would cause the flashback. So the problem with that is David's already picked up the clock. So we would have to go back and we'd have to write a flashback there, right? Or just like a quick flashback, maybe not the whole entire one. So we would have to go back to page um, right here, page 9. So right here, when he picks up the clock, we can have a flashback here. And this is where, he could see, let's say, okay, I've got it. I think I've got it. You're watching me think. Do I look like I'm in pain? I'm thinking right now. Okay, so I've got it. So, um, not that I have to go buy this art, right? This rendered art of David. It would probably be pretty cool if I made their outfits look kind of close to this. as he's having his flashback, right? Let's say the flashback happens right here. Flashback happens right here in this highlighted part, right? So David, naturally curious, picks up an old clock and examines it closely. The time reads 6 p.m. David looks at the back of the clock and tries to wind it, but with no luck. No luck. So the 6 p.m. is what causes him to have his flashback, right? So this is where, like, all of a sudden you get this flashback shot, and David's laying on the ground, right? He's laying on the concrete outside on the city street. And it's like a POV version, right? And the POV is through David's eyes, and he's looking across, and he's seeing essentially Sarah being attacked, right? So she is laying on her back, and she's sort of struggling with this guy standing over the top of her, and you see the guy reach down and snatch her necklace off, right? And that's what leaves all those scratch marks across her neck. Um, and then you can see David look down, and when he does, his pocket watch is laying there on the ground, and it says 6 p.m. And then we can have him react to this flashback, and Sarah can be like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And he can just be like, f you know, there he needs to be able to react to it. So I think that is how I'm gonna tie in the flashback. So he doesn't see him get murdered, but he sees them, getting robbed. Or maybe he doesn't see the pocket watch say 6 p.m. Maybe he sees her neck. Okay, so, like, POV from his view, right? Like I said, and he sees Sarah being attacked, sees her necklace get snatched off her neck, and maybe the guy comes over to David, still in a POV. He looks up, and the guy's standing over him, and the guy grabs his pocket watch out. And then when the other guy's like, "Hey, come on, we gotta go," talking about the robbers, "Hey, we gotta go," and he can be like, I don't know, maybe he can say something about 6 o'clock. It's almost 6 o'clock. We gotta go, right? And then that's what um, triggers this. Hey, what's up, Martin? So cool. Glad you're here. So we've got about 9 pages written, right? So I'm writing an anthology. So my anthology is called Hell's Night, and essentially what we're doing is we're writing the introduction story. So we have this couple who gets caught out in this rainstorm. They don't know how they got there. So I don't have an official synopsis written, so I'm just going to recap you real quick. So um, they get caught out in this rainstorm. They don't know how they got there. Um, their phones aren't working. It's two characters. It's a woman and a man, and they take refuge under the storefront awning. And they try to use their phones. Phones aren't working. They don't know where they're at. They look down the street and they see this old storefront that has some lights on the inside. So they're like, we have to go there to get out of this rain. We can call for help while we're there. That old storefront is an antique shop. Um, the antique shop is called Haran's Antiques. So when they get in there, the antique shop is kind of weird. It's dimly lit. It's really old. There's cobwebs on everything. It's dirty, dusty, and just musty. And um, the couple doesn't know it yet, but the couple's actually dead. So this is revealed through a series of flashbacks and things that they find that they're dead. And as they're going through this antique shop, they're finding out these different things, right, about their story. And Haran, they eventually meet the shopkeep. He's in the back of the shop, right? And he reveals himself. Haran in Greek mythology is the ferryman of the dead. He takes people from, uh, I guess, the living world to the afterlife. And you pay him with gold coins. That's your toll. Like I said, it takes you across the river Styx, and if you don't have gold coins to pay him, you have to wander the riverbanks for 100 years. That's Greek mythology. So we're sort of playing on that with my shopkeeper. So this being an anthology, as they're in this antique shop, they are more or less gonna be picking up these different items, and these different items, uh, are gonna introduce 2 other stories that are gonna be in this anthology. Um, so we have a clock that gets picked up, and that goes to one of our flashbacks to show not a different story, but to complete our introduction story. Um, so I want my wraparound story for this anthology to be a little more detailed than most are. Um, I don't know if you were here in the stream when we were talking about Creep Show, Tales from the Crypt, the Mortuary Collection, Body Bags, but all of these anthologies always have an introduction story. And they're normally just a presenter saying, "Hey, I've got a tale for you," and then they go into some sort of moral story or moral they go into like a film, and then they'll come back and they'll have like some sort of fable or moral point to the story, right? Like the crypt keeper from Tales from the Crypt would. So we're gonna break those laws, and we're gonna have a pretty intricate wraparound story with 2 other short films shoved in it, right? Every item in this antique shop has a story of death attached to it. So they will eventually be told 2 stories of death from Haran during their time in the antique shop before he reveals that they're actually dead as well. And that's why he's telling them these stories. Like all these objects you're picking up, you know, these are, uh, you know, somebody's possessions, right? Somebody that died. And that's essentially what an antique shop is, anyways. But um, everything in the antique shop is going to represent a different story. So not only will it tell their story, it'll tell 2 brand new stories that we're gonna write and eventually film. So, I write, I direct, and I shoot horror films, at the indie level. So, I'm eventually gonna not only be the one writing this, I'm gonna be the one shooting it. Whether I bring on a director or not, is to be determined. Um, but definitely bringing on producers, bringing on crew members and all that. I'm a cinematographer by trade, a camera operator, so that's what I'll be doing on the film, and I also write, which is a weird combo. So, as I'm writing this, it's not something that is sort of, like, hoping that it gets picked up. Um, I plan on shooting all this myself unless I can get some other people involved. Um, that's essentially what it is, and we're gonna try to get this shot as well as the other 2 shorts written and shot, by this time next year. So I'm giving myself a year to get all this, through pre-production, principal photography, post-production, and then put out there somewhere. So I hope that all made sense. It is sort of just a quick rundown of what our plan with this is. Um, I have 3 other writing live streams on this channel as well, where we went into the outline of this particular story, and I live stream every Friday night around 10 p.m. Eastern time. So would love to have you on and hanging out and throwing out ideas anytime you want to be a part of this, Martin. So let's see. So, Martin, great minds think alike because check this out. This right here, let me bring this up. They actually do break into the antique shop. And while we're going through this, I do want to mention that um, this is a collaborative process here. Obviously, I'm writing this, but I'm also taking everybody's ideas essentially into account. And if there's something that is good, I'm gonna see if I can fit it in the script. And as it goes through, like I've told Chuck and I've told a couple other people that are in here giving ideas that if you're in here and you're throwing out ideas and it's something we end up using and makes it into the film, I'm gonna throw you in the credits in the film as like either like a writing contributor or like a special thanks, as well as on IMDb. I'll give you a credit because it's only really the right thing to do, you know. So if you're out here and you're coming in week by week and you're throwing out ideas and you're really sort of being like not just a part of the brainstorming process, but like um, somebody there for me to bounce ideas off of, then you definitely deserve, you know, at least a special thanks in the credits, in an IMDb credit. So there's always that if you're interested in coming back week by week and, you know, being engaged in the process. Also, Martin, when you look at this, we have just art, some AI generated art, some renders of certain parts of the um, And when you talked about having him reveal himself, in like a jump scare kind of way, that is something that we had talked about too in one of the past streams. Like, should we have him um, appear behind Sarah, like as she's digging through something, looking through some objects, like that one shot you saw of her, and then all of a sudden he's behind her and he says something with like a thundering kind of voice, like a deep voice. Um, I think that's how he would be revealed, and it just scares the crap out of her. And she's in an opposite room of David, and lets out this shriek, and then maybe David can run in, and this is when they start asking him like, "Hey, do you have a phone?" All this, and this is when he starts telling him a story or something, because we definitely got to get into those other stories. Yep, I definitely agree with you. That is definitely a way to um bring them in and get that suspense going, get that little bit of creep factor in there, right? So, do you write, Martin? Or are you a filmmaker or horror fan or any or all of the above? If you're interested, there is a Discord I'm putting together, like Chuck mentioned up here. And if you're into horror filmmaking, horror writer, screenwriting, any of that good stuff, or even like writing novels or anything like that, then you can hop in this Discord. I'm putting it together for networking purposes for horror screenwriters, horror filmmakers. It's where we're gonna have crew calls, um, uh, like collaborating, networking sessions and stuff like that, and even maybe meetups if I get enough people in there that are around in the same areas. Big movie buff, cool. Writing and storytelling. So you are in the right place because you are around other people just like you. So, um, what's your favorite movie of all time, Martin? If you don't mind me asking, just so we get to know one another. Doesn't have to be horror, it can be whatever. And Chuck, for you too, what's your favorite movie of all time? And Brandon, if you're still out there, what is your favorite movie of all time? There's no way Brandon's still out there. No freaking way. Collaborating on things, awesome. Uh, like I said, if you hop in that Discord, that is gonna be where there will be some collaborations. Um, hopefully going in the near future, or like I said, this film here, Hell's Night that I'm putting together. Um, I'm potentially looking for writers for one of the other two films um, that I'm going to feature in this anthology, and that'll be them writing it by themselves or with a crew or whoever they want. And then, you know, if they want to go off and produce it, then that's awesome too. And then we'll just throw it in the anthology. Um, but if they just want to write it and they're looking for it to be produced, then that is something that if I like the story and stuff, I will film it and do all that good stuff. And you'll get your writer's credits and all of that good stuff. And then I'll film it and it'll be in this anthology. So that's another way to collaborate as well. Um, so I'm trying to get as many people in this Discord as possible. So I'm posting over here on Reddit right now. Um, the Discord. So hopefully we get some more people in there. That way we can start collaborating and doing all that good stuff. All right, I'm gonna finish doing this later. All right. Blade Runner is amazing. All those movies are good. Shawshank is crazy. And that is considered one of the not only most important films ever made, but it's one of those that is deemed as one of the best movies ever made with like Citizen Kane. Um, Midsummer is awesome. Love that. Ari Aster's a genius. I love Hereditary. Blade Runner's great. The remake was pretty good. I'm a huge Roger Deakins fan, so the cinematography of that was absolutely phenomenal. Um, Stand By Me. I have Stand By Me somewhere. I'm normally always bringing in VHS and showing them on the streams because I have so many. I just have God, like hundreds and hundreds. I have a Stand By Me VHS. Um, must be over here out of my reach. Stand By Me is fantastic. It is literally the story of Pennywise the Clown without a clown. Um, more or less, that's what I tell people. And it's actually it's like, it's a pretty tough movie if you think about it. Um, but it's really good. So my favorite movie of all time is not even a horror movie, even though that's literally my thing and all I watch. My favorite movie of all time is Goodfellas. That is one of those movies that it does not matter what time of day it's on. It doesn't matter like what day it comes on. I have to stop and I have to watch it. I'd almost call out of work to watch Goodfellas if I saw it on. Absolutely love that movie. Everything about it to me is perfect. The directing, the cinematography, the writing. I love Scorsese. Of course, he's a classic, he's a legend, but Goodfellas, all-time favorite movie, and, I meet people to this day that haven't seen that movie, and anybody that watches it, they're like, "This is freaking phenomenal. Like, how have I gone so long without watching this?" Um, you know, uh, beyond that, stuff that's not horror, that's some of my favorite is, No Country for Old Men. Absolutely love that movie. The Coen brothers, geniuses again in their own right. You know, um, love No Country for Old Men. That's a Roger Deakins shot movie. Just everything about that movie is perfect. The twists, the subtle way that they have Anton Chigurh, the villain, played by Javier Bardem, like, they have him as, like, one of the most evil people in cinema history, but he's not like a monster. He's not like um, I don't know. There's just something about him that is a very believable thing. He's not really a serial killer, but he's just like he's frightening. Oh man, Shawshank, Field of Dreams, and Back to the Future, all three. Equals evil. So one thing I love Back to the Future. Back to the Future 1 and 2, fantastic. I'm not 100% sold on number 3, but 1 and 2 are great, and that is one of the worst things that has happened, I think, to really when it comes to, like, actors is, like, Michael J. Fox getting, um what is it he has? I cannot think of what it's called. What's that disease called, Chuck? Um, but I hate it because he was such a phenomenal actor. Loved Michael J. Fox, not just in Back to the Future, but other things he was in. He's just fantastic. And I always hate, like seeing that he had to go through what he has to go through. And, you know, the man is just, Parkinson's. That's it. God, why could I not think of that? Um, yeah, I hate that. I would have really liked to see what he would have gone on to do. And didn't Bruce Willis? Did Bruce Willis? Bruce Willis has something going on over the last couple years where he quit acting. And again, it's super unfortunate. I mean, um, I don't know what it was though. But yeah, Bruce Willis, he had something going on, and it sucks because, sucks just for them, right? Like as people. But it's terrible to see like they had to stop creating their art at, before they were ready. Yeah, Michael J. Fox, he's, phenomenal dude, with his charity work and all of that. And like you said, just raising awareness. Was it dementia? Oh, yeah, you're right. It is dementia. I thought he had something else. I thought he had another physical thing like Parkinson's or something. Front temporal dementia. Aphasia. So it was aphasia. Okay, so that's what I was thinking of. And it's progressed to front temporal dementia. Yeah, it's terrible. Because Bruce Willis has always been one of those larger than life actors. Obviously, the Die Hard series, Pulp Fiction. He's just one of those people that you grew up watching, depending on when you were born. But, um, as a kid, I grew up watching him and I always just thought he was phenomenal, larger than life. Yeah, I did not know it was dementia. Oh, Fifth Element? Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, Fifth Element is ridiculous. Like, that movie still stands up to the test of time. Like, if you go watch that, I mean, some of the special effects are still, like I said, they still stand up, you know? It's like watching Blade Runner 2049, the new one, it's like, you know, special effects are pretty close, and the story's great. Who is that? Chris Tucker, and that is hilarious. The Fifth Element has always reminded me of, do you guys remember the animated Heavy Metal? And it had that little section in there about the cab driver. Fifth Element's always reminded me of that story. Um, Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. So, love Seven. Seven is a great movie. I introduced that movie to my wife a couple years ago, and she likes it. And the funniest thing about that movie is Brad Pitt. You know, what's in the box? What's in the box? Isn't that Brad Pitt doing that in that movie? What's in the box at the end? It's a good quotable moment. Um, but it's a solid movie. I love like crime thrillers. They're sort of horror adjacent, which means not necessarily horror, but like if horror lived here, thrillers kind of live here. And when I started making films and short films and stuff, I really started with crime thrillers. So I hold those near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite crime thrillers is a movie that came out with Brad Pitt in it on his production company Plan B, and it's called Killing Them Softly. It's really good. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but you should definitely check it out. Let me see here. Quentin Tarantino said Invincible is a perfect movie. M. Night low key the goat. M. Night Shyamalan. He's definitely a visionary. Um, I watched a movie that he put out recently called Old. Did either one of you guys see that? It is. Let me see here. Invincible is a great movie, though. This movie here. Old. It is an M. Night Shyamalan. Sh- Shyamalan. I don't know if I'm ever saying his name right or not. But it had a really interesting um yeah, it had a really interesting like synopsis. I think what ruined it is me was the dubbing. So like if you could find it to where it wasn't dubbed, it would probably be a lot better. And that's a lot of movies like that. Like if you can find the version that's not dubbed, that's what you need to watch. Because the way that they have it dubbed in English, it sort of takes some of the, I don't know, like emotion out of the actors. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Chuck, if you haven't seen Old, you should watch it. It's on Netflix, I think. Or it was on Netflix. Might be on Hulu. 5.8 out of 10, but who cares about what the critics say? They're usually wrong anyways. I wouldn't say I would make it an event to watch it, but I would put it on like a Thursday afternoon and watch it. Okay, I won't see a million pictures of the cover. Yeah, it's interesting. It has a really cool synopsis. Um, what else is this guy working on? Does he have anything new coming out? What is Servant? Has anybody seen this? It has 40 episodes. The Watchers, Trap. You know what I'm excited for? Since we're here just talking movies. Robert Eggers. So, this dude, amazing filmmaker. He is doing. Where's it at? Where's it at? Nosferatu. So he is remaking the 1920s Nosferatu. It's in post-production right now, so it should be coming out soon. And Bill Skarsgård is in it. And William Dafoe. So Bill Skarsgård plays Count Orlok, which is pretty gnarly, right? Bill Skarsgård is awesome. You know, he played Pennywise in the new It movies. William Dafoe is a goat. So it's awesome. He is going to be in it. I don't know if I know this guy, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and then Lily Rose Depp. That's Johnny Depp's daughter. I don't know how she is. She was in something that I saw. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so he's remaking that. So that's going to be really good. So looking forward to that. If you guys saw The Lighthouse,
Fond of me lobster, ain't you?
you know where that's from. Fond of Me Lobster, ain't she?
Fond of me lobster, ain't you?
Lighthouse was good. It was an experience. Chuck, if you haven't seen The Lighthouse, you should watch The Lighthouse. It's not for the faint of heart, though. I would definitely give it a watch. The Lighthouse is a good Friday night watch. That one, you know, I would make an event out of that one. Get you some popcorn, get you some candy, get you some snacks, and watch that one because it is a journey. And it'll leave you just as confused and entertained equally. But it's worth the watch. And then he also did what was that movie? The Witch, which was phenomenal. Oh, Ty West. Ty West is one of the greatest modern horror filmmakers, in my opinion. This guy here. He has done one of my favorite modern horror films. House of the Devil. This is like a modern bootleg VHS of House of the Devil. But House of the Devil is amazing. It's on Shudder. I know it's on Tubi. You need to get Tubi, Chuck. He did Pearl here, did X, and then he's doing another one. It's like a trilogy of movies. Dazed and Confused. Old school, yeah, Dazed and Confused is fantastic. There's a Matthew McConaughey movie that came out that I really liked. It was called, how do you spell his freaking name? That's not it. There it is. So, it was the one where he played the cop. So Mud was really good. Chuck, have you ever seen this movie? What you, Martin, you ever seen this one? This is a must watch right here. This movie is phenomenal. You like movies with, like, a good story? Watch this one. Chuck, I highly, highly recommend you watch this weekend, and then let me know what you think about it. PG-13, you can watch it with your son if you wanted, watch it with your wife. You know, this isn't like a horror movie with anything, like, vile, disgusting, downright terrifying in it. Um, it's really good. Highly recommend that one. That's not the movie I was talking about, though. There was one where he plays, let's see. True Detective was amazing. Season 1, I never watched the second one. Second season. Not that far back. Killer Joe, right here. This movie right here, fantastic. It's unrated. This one you wouldn't wanna watch with your kid in the room. Crime drama, thriller. When a debt puts a young man's life in danger, he turns to putting a hit out on his evil mother in order to collect the insurance. So Matthew McConaughey plays sort of this Texas lawman in this film, and it's great. It's got this guy in here too. He's good. Emil Hirsch. It's like that actor that you know his face and you see him, but you don't know his name. I didn't know his name till now. But he's a pretty good actor. He played Into the Wild. I don't know if you guys remember that from 2007. Yeah, he's good. Let's see what's coming out. Let's see. Saw X. Dreams of Darkness. The Exorcist Believer. I knew they were coming out with, like, an Exorcist remake. This is a sequel to the 1973 film. David Gordon Green, he's the same guy that did the Halloween remakes, so I'm looking forward to this. I like David Gordon Green, even though I didn't like all of his Halloween remakes. Crypt of Evil. What is this? No synopsis. Killers of the Flower Moon. This is supposed to be really good. This is the newest Scorsese film. Leo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone. Like, you're not gonna get many more, well, you probably won't get many more after this. De Niro directed, starring DiCaprio, starring De Niro, so this is, you know, something that we need to cherish here. I think that got a standing ovation at Cannes, I think. Five Nights at Freddy's. You guys know this? Kids video game. My son used to play this game a lot. I'm gonna take him to see this. It comes out in October. There's a lot of stuff coming out that I don't even know what it is. Listen carefully. Sounds cool. But, yeah, so a lot of good stuff coming out. I could spend forever doing this. I'm not gonna do this right now. Um, cool thing about it is, hopefully, our anthology will be up there one day. something that we create here on this channel. Um, and you guys can look back and say, hey, you were a part of it. Um, Now, if you're here just for the writing, sorry we didn't do too much writing tonight. We did some brainstorming, we did some recapping, we did some hanging out with, new viewers, and to me, that's just as important. I'll have some new things written by next writing live stream next Friday. Um, and then we'll do some writing. We'll make sure we double down on that next Friday because, like I said, we got to get this thing written so we can stay on schedule, so we can start pre-production of this and start getting the other stories written. So, um, if you're watching this on the replay, I will put the Discord link in the description and as well as pin it in the top comment. And, if you guys are interested in trying to connect with other screenwriters or interested in collaborating or trying to have somebody read your scripts or read other scripts, then you definitely want to be part of this Discord as well as coming in and, hanging out and being part of these live streams is going to be a good way to not only um, take part in what we're doing here on the channel in this film, but there are random writers popping in here and there, as well as other filmmakers. So spend some time, talk with them, and you know, maybe you can make a friend, maybe you can make a writing partner, whatever the case may be, because that is essentially what this is all about. Like, how can we all come together to create a community. That way we can network, we can collaborate, and we can help each other out. Because not only is getting a movie made hard, you know, writing a movie is hard, especially if you don't have a network, or especially if you're starting out and you don't know, the ins and outs or what you're doing, you know. So, highly, highly recommend, you know, getting in the Discord and, taking part in being active. Being active is the main thing. You don't want to just, pop in there and then not ever post or not ever reply, not ever comment because that makes it, useless. So what's coming up for me? So let's talk about this before we get off. I'm gonna give this another 10 minutes, and then we're gonna end this live stream. Chuck, I really appreciate you hanging out with me this long, especially since I know you worked all day today and you're cruising into your weekend. So I appreciate that. You're always here. You're always showing up. You're always supporting. It means a lot to me. Martin, uh, Apache that came in, Brandon, everybody that just popped in, hung out. I appreciate it. So, what's up next? I would say that um, we are going to, once we finish writing this, we're going to put this story in pre-production. So we're going to go ahead and storyboard it. We have to finish this first draft. We'll probably do a second draft, and I think we're just going to do 2 drafts of this. We don't really need to do a third draft since I'm going to be shooting it and directing it probably. I'll probably look for a director. If I can't find one, I'll just direct it. So I'll probably start crewing up the film and putting it in pre-production. I'll probably do some location scouting, and all of that will be documented here on this YouTube channel, whether they're just in regular uploads or if I can document those live, I will. But if you're interested in any stage of filmmaking, writing process, obviously we're doing that here. The pre-production phases of it, whether that's storyboarding, location scouting, camera lens choices, financing, all that. We're gonna do all of that. I'm gonna document it. And then principal photography, obviously there'll be BTS on set, whether I hire somebody to do that for me or I do it myself. That's gonna be a thing. So all that's gonna be documented here, and hopefully, this story here will be at least principal photography. I would like to get it started by we're going into October. I would like to maybe shoot the month of February. I know that seems like a long ways away, but if we can shoot the month of February and get it done in that month, that's a win because then we can spend uh, a month writing the other story. So then we can spend March writing, April shooting, and then we can do it, for the next story, whether I have somebody write that. Um, if they write it, then I could shoot that in June or July and then have that done, and then I can spend all of August and September of next year editing this and, have it out by October, right? Um, into September, mid-October release is what I'm looking at, 2024. So that's what I'm going for. Um, and I don't know. I think that we are going to eventually put up a either like an Indiegogo, a Kickstarter, or something to help fund the film for anybody that wants to get involved, in any way, shape, or form to help finance it. But I'll also be looking for financing outside of crowdsourcing. Um, so there'll be obviously like perks that you can get because we'll probably make a lot of cool. Um, I don't want to call it merch, but we'll make some cool stuff. We'll make some Haran themed things, like maybe some official Haran antique shop shirts and stuff like that we'll give for perks. Just a lot of cool things, a lot of credits that you can get for donating to the film to help it get made. There'll be a lot of cool things. So that'll eventually go up. I don't know when I'm going to do that. I'm really needing to sit down and plan that out and get some of the perks for people that are going to donate. Also, another cool thing you can do is if you want to help finance the film, um, I have all these cool things on my website like this that if you purchase, it goes directly towards when purchased through the live stream, it goes through funds to help support the channel and support the film. So I have all this cool stuff over on my website. So if you scan that QR code, it'll take you straight to that and look around the website. If you're a filmmaker, photographer, there's free stuff over there for you to download, as well as other shirts, other things. The shirt I have on here is over there. It's a skeleton operator. It's a skeleton holding a camera above his head, printed real big on the back. You can go check it out if you like. Um, but those are cool ways to help, support the film, support the channel, because that's what these things are on the stream for. Um, so I'm going to be looking around for other filmmakers. So if you know any, invite them into these live streams because I'm looking for somebody that wants to not only collaborate, but potentially write a story and put inside this anthology, right? So it'll be their work in this anthology, and then, you know, or looking for other writers that want to write and then have me produce it. So just looking to meet those people. So if it's you or if you know somebody, speak up or invite them over. And we will definitely talk about that. And beyond that, that's really all I've got. I think that over here on the Discord, I can see that actually now more people are joining up. So I'm going to be active in there throughout the week. That way, hopefully, if I start posting in there, other people will start posting and showing them what we can use the Discord for. So that's about it. If anybody has anything else, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm about to shut this thing down because I've been going for 2 hours and 44 minutes. And I feel like I am starting to be redundant here. So the script is, at this point, we are on page 11. So that means next time we live stream, I need to have written past page 11. So you guys hold me accountable. I'll have something new to share with you guys script wise by next Friday. The live streams. The live streams are every Friday night, with a random one popping up here and there, but the main ones are every Friday night at 10 p.m. And maybe potentially trying to make that earlier, just for the simple fact of I know that depending on where you live in the world, where you live in the country, 10 p.m. may be kind of late for you to join in. So we'll look into moving that up a little bit earlier if need be. Other than that, I appreciate all of you guys. And like I said, the Discord will be down in the link, down in the description. The link will be in the pinned comment. Go over there, post up, introduce yourself. Let me actually write an introduction channel real quick. Let's see here. Go. All right, so there's an introduce yourself channel. So I think that one is good for you to hop in, introduce yourself, talk about who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff. So appreciate you, Chuck. I will try to do my best to have a good weekend of work. Monday's gonna suck. I don't know if you watched my video, but I gotta get a root canal before I go into work on Monday, so that's gonna be terrible. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That way you can stay up to date, just not on the live streams, but on the things I'm doing. I do daily vlogs as an everyday filmmaker, horror writer, all that good stuff. So if you want to know what I do on a random Wednesday, subscribe to the channel and watch on a random Wednesday and you'll see. Appreciate all of you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. See ya.